What's up, you guys? Jesse and Danny here again.
I just like doing that too. So I'm a. He always comes up with something, so I'm gonna talk about. He just moved here to Minnesota, right?
Yeah.
And I don't have any family here, right? It's just me out here. I kind of like moved and felt the same way you did, and was like, I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, like, how you feel about leaving your home. And it can be like your home state. It doesn't have to be like your home because, like, right. you might not live with, not like that. But I mean, like,
Texas wasn't that, but
yeah, like you're literally like going someplace else to become whoever you feel like you're gonna be in that place. Like, is it necessary? Does it help? Like, does it make you grow faster?
It helps your growth. I think it does benefit it in better ways if you just decided to stay. I think I had to go because I had to go. It was like eating a bowl of soup with a fork. That's the best example I can give. It felt like here's this great utensil of helping me get someplace, but it's in soup.
It's the wrong place.
Wrong place, Like I couldn't get anywhere. Being in Texas, it definitely served its purpose for the time, though. Like I've formed friendships that I have that I will always appreciate, and it helped my growth with just different kinds of people, because Texas is a soup. I mean, there's all kinds of people. Not that there aren't many people in New Orleans are different kinds of people, because New Orleans is known for its diversity, but I don't know, Texas being as spacious as it was, you would see all kinds of people, and that helped my social interaction. But I knew creatively where I wanted to go. Minnesota, I felt, had that immediately with just the life in the city, the heartbeat, and the engagement. It just seems like a city that's just engaged in activity constantly. And I needed that to kind of, throw in my fangs into somebody who, can engage in that same thing. So I think Minnesota was that necessary movement for me. And since I've been here, I'm adjusting. I've been saying that, meaning I believe, underestimate it, because I've been moving. I've moved so many places. Like Hurricane Katrina, we moved so many different places before we decided to really stay in Texas. And then I went to Europe, and I went back to New Orleans.
You made that sound so bad.
It wasn't bad. No, it was definitely the fun. I mean,
God, I had to go to Europe. Awful.
I did say like that, huh?
I mean, the car was blue. I asked for bread.
No, it was.
I got you. I got you.
It's funny how the mannerisms can dictate that. Like, but no, I've been moving a lot of places. So coming here, I kind of felt like, oh, it's just me moving somewhere else. But nah, because Europe was.
What's been different? What's different? What made you realize nah?
Because first of all, like family, because like when I went to New Orleans, I had stayed with a grandfather.
Yeah.
Like being in Texas, parents. But now it's like you're gonna have to live on your own, and you're gonna have to be responsible, paying bills and maintaining the life that you want to have. It's not gonna be like just accepting the privileges that we're given.
Yeah, you really realize the privileges all of a sudden.
So, but no, like family isn't here in Minnesota. So that's been a challenge too. But it's not a challenge in the sense that I miss my family, but just having somebody who's been here for a while, that I'm thankful for you and other people that I've met here that have been just kind of like, oh yeah, this has this here, and just kind of open me up to it. Because it's also different people, different energy. And that's what I was telling earlier. Should I go there?
She said you want to say, we ain't got to stay
there.
I'm
going to say, we don't got to stay there, yeah. So I was having lunch with a friend today, and I just said simply, I was like, I've underestimated the amount of white people that live in Minnesota. I mean, it wasn't nothing against white people. I just underestimated the amount because now I can go places where I'm the actual only black person. And it's not a bad thing. It's just one of those things you realize when you look around. But, you know, and I remember, I'm going to just, like, we don't have to stay there, but Samantha was kind of surprised by that in a way. She's like, what they're black people. It's like, yeah, but if you look around.
And coming from, you know, like, I came from LA and then have people in Atlanta, then I have people in Texas. There is no shortage of black folks at all. He comes from New Orleans, Texas, you know? So,
I mean,
in comparison.
And Europe was different because, you know, they were Somalians, but they weren't, you know,
not black.
They ain't black. So you didn't see that culture. What I'm saying is,
I tried to warn this dude.
She did,
totally did. I love it. I totally do. But I tried to warn him. But it's something you just got to realize once you get here.
Yeah, I remember what she said. I'm just letting you know, living here, there are no black people. It's like that. And it just kind of like.
People think it's funny. Yeah, people think that it's like, it's funny because it's not true. Then sitcoms make them joke when it's like, the only black people there are Prince. Like.
Kind of serious.
It's funny because it's true.
So yeah.
Oh, Kevin Garnett and Prince now. I guess that's the latest one I heard. But anyway.
Yeah. The reality is, look.
But do you feel, have you changed creatively since you moved here? If that was the draw to you, like, has it changed for you?
I think, yeah, already. And I haven't even been here for half a year. And I've already felt the sense of.
Yeah, half a year.
I haven't. I have not felt this sense of urge like I have now since I've come here. Like I feel like I just gotta connect. Just pull it, take it, take it.
What are you taking?
I'm taking the different avenues that have been found here. Like I'm realizing that there's opportunity, and it's tangible opportunity that'll help further my own endeavors. So. Like, I've connected with a lot of music people here. I've connected with a lot of filmmakers here. And I'm connecting with photography. You know, people like you who do your own thing. So I feel it feels like a culture. It feels like there are people who are, like, doing things. And I wasn't, and that was the case in Texas, but it was more scattered. So you got to go to Houston or maybe Austin. But in Arlington.
Yeah.
There's this fast food restaurants and malls and Six Flags, and it's like, hey, you want to go to the movies?
And track housing. Was it track housing where you were?
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, thank God. Track housing is when they have 4 houses, literally, and they just plant them all over. Yeah. So, like, your house you'll pass your house 7 times. Trying to get out of your suburb.
Yeah.
You're trying to get out of your cul-de-sac.
Thankfully, oh my goodness, no, there was no track housing. No. But I mean, it's just listening to music, that's important to me. And that's all of that here. To access it.
Easy.
And Texas is just like, there's in Arlington, this place called Cowboys. And it was just like, you know, 2-step thing. I'm like, what is that? It's not live music, you know? It was just dancing and stuff like that.
I'm sorry, I have broken many a sweat doing some 2-step. Like, damn.
I mean, look, I can do it if I feel like it.
I got you. It's different than, like
you said, just accessing it.
Yeah.
It wasn't accessible.
You won't get no funk bass and no country 2-step. That's just not what happens. And that's some soul-feeding sound that you need. So.
I wasn't getting any of that. Even the museums, it just felt like, look, I don't have a car in Texas, you don't got any legs. And when my car broke down,
so true.
Yeah, that is so true.
One thing I really liked about people are always like, "Why I'm in Minneapolis?" And I'm like, I was like, "Cause the art here it's everywhere, and it's kind of like really, really not treasured, but invested in around here. You know, like, it doesn't matter where I am and what kind of situation, I can always find some kind of, like, random artwork piece where it, like, really shows that somebody was like, yeah, we're going to make sure that this is here. Mm-hmm. It's not curated. And like LA, it's definitely a curated art. The way it's presented to you is beautiful, but it's not it's not community driven. It's not owned. Like I can,
Oh,
you go down
okay.
like the building up the street that has like the mosaic.
Yeah,
That's somebody in
beautiful.
the community that like is an artist that got like kids to come and support to like because it's their building, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just everywhere. You can be walking
It's
anywhere
fluent.
and find
It's fluent. Yeah.
craziness. That's fun.
That's fun.
That's a lot of fun.
I totally, and I can
That's
definitely attest to that. It's just art.
Little, yeah.
It's just art, and it's cool.
But it's art like in a small. It's a
pocket.
Yeah, it's like an attainable. You can get anywhere. Yeah. Really, which is pretty cool.
That's one of the reasons I moved here too.
So, do you think? Oh goodness, you said something earlier about like not when you stop being who you are, all of a sudden, or stop doing something.
Mm-hmm.
Could that be applied to like who you are once you leave when you come back to see your family? All of a sudden, you may have decided to stop doing something, you know, because you've really been out on your own now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's only been like 3 months. So
no, but I mean, there's a freedom to do what I felt previously afraid to do. Like if I go back to Texas now, I'll feel more loose in how I talk to people and how I present things, because I was very careful and very cautious of certain words or just certain themes because I was so worried about it. Instead of like talking about it to like, hey, I'm just talking about it. I'm not trying to argue. I just want to know what you think of it because this is what I think. Yeah. What do you think? That's all. You know, I'm not trying to
have a conversation.
So...
Well.
Yeah, well, it's just talking about like, hey, I want to know what you think about this. Well, I was pretty like, if I mention this, then they're gonna think that I was the implications were eating me away. So now it's like, hey, I just want to know what you think of this, because I've been thinking about it and I don't believe the way I used to believe, and therefore I'm not going to talk about it the way I used to talk about it. You know, so that's really.
Which is why you should never. I think you talk about this earlier. You should never make like declarations about yourself.
Yeah. Never make. Yeah.
Because that's life's favorite thing to be like, oh really? I'm sorry, I was going this way, but I think I like this way now. Let me show you something right quick.
Yeah. That's so wonderful about life, because it does that all the time.
It trips me out when people like that have the you know, the ability to have people listen to what they say and they make declarations about themselves. It's like, all right,
let's see what's gonna happen when you get in that situation.
What's the date? Let's see what happens when tomorrow comes.
When the phone call comes, when you hear that phone, let's see what's gonna happen. So but see, that's the thing, because I was that person to make declarations. So, I mean, I'm laughing at it, but I'm also thinking, like, I did it. I mean, I was actually making declaratives, and I was just saying things. Stop, you know, this is absolute. This is it. And, you know, and now life has definitely jogged up with me enough to know, no, it ain't.
About, like, yourself or about things in life?
About things in life. I mean, also, about subjects and how I categorize and labeled and did all of that. Like, it's like, hey, this is not this. Like, I'm starting to see just the complexity in everything, but how everything is just connected. And so this sense of connection has allowed me to understand that it's not like, okay, you're over here and I'm right here. And that's really kind of how I thought of it. I thought of it like, it's like, you know, we're different. We're not, you know. And so I formed my theory on that difference, and I had an explanation that was according to a code that, you know, was all of this manual script type of this is how it is because, instead of it being just what it is.
Yeah. You being able to see that and allow that.
Yeah.
It's what brought you to that understanding that, as I'm hearing, we're all one. Everything's one.
Right. What brought me to the understanding?
Everything is everything.
Everything is everything. Everything is everything.
Everything is everything.
Lauren, I love that song. I think it was just paying attention to anything that comes your way. Like, not just treating it as a part of a play, like, oh, this is your role, but just like paying attention to it and realizing that it's not just an isolated something. because it came to you, and you got to do something with it, no matter how far you ignore it. And so, and then I realized people have emotions, people feel, and I'm not really even understanding how I feel sometimes. So how can I explain what they feeling? So when someone says, well, I feel this way, and this is, you know, like I've learned just ultimately to get out of people's business. Like,
thank you.
yeah. Like, why is that my business? It's not my business. And when I've realized, you know, okay, it's not my business, I can see it, you know, okay, free, go do what you're doing, because it doesn't affect me.
Yeah, it
at
really
all. Doesn't. Like what gives us the assumption, or what gives one to think that what someone else is doing,
the right. Some people feel like it's the right.
Like, I need to know. You've helped me with that a lot. Really? I remember there was a day we went to get a donut. I don't even know if you remember this. Remember we got the donuts at the Minneapolis?
Oh, with Tamiko?
Yeah. Okay. So when you first mentioned it, my mind was like, donuts. I want donuts. And I remember
come down to food.
You know. When you said, "Oh, we should get some donuts," I was like, donuts. Like I was like a child, waiting for donuts. I was excited about the donuts, and so you had to go home, and he was like, "Oh, well, first I'm going home," and I said, "We're not going to get donuts," and you said, "This is all you said." Do we have to right now? Do we have to right now? Like, do we have to get them right now? Do you need the donuts right now? And I was like, no, I don't. That was like, what I was saying is, it's so
that
easy.
Was your epiphany moment?
Yeah. That wasn't the ultimate epiphany, but it was one of the things that made me realize, like, I don't really need to pay attention to this if it's not, like, I don't need it now.
Yeah.
Like, it's not, and that applies to what I'm speaking about, this oneness. Like, I don't, like, if I don't understand something, or if I say, oh, this is doing what it's not supposed to do. Like, that's what happens when people have that mindset. We say it's acting out of its, like, the way it's supposed to act. It's supposed to act like this because this causes this. So,
you know, also did it too. I said, we're going to get it. Yeah. Just not right now. And you were like, oh, okay. Like, I didn't know it was going to happen. I thought it was going to happen like this, which is what you said, which is what you were responding to. And I was like, okay.
It's not like that.
That's funny. Yeah. So cool. Shoot, that happened recently. Yeah. This gets to happen because you're here now.
I know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've just, once again, stand out of people's business and understanding people come to you. They're not just like a swat of flies just landing on you. Is a reason it came to you. You gotta do something with it, you know. So that's been a beautiful experience for me so far. And I think just Minneapolis has helped that, or opened me up to the different kinds of people and see how people respond to the different kinds of people. Because when you grow up in like a conservative point of view, you kind of look at how people respond to people. Like, people come in, they look a certain way, like they treat you differently. Whereas here, it seems like more people here, it's like, no, just somebody with locks. Oh, somebody with a bunch of piercings. Oh, somebody, you know, it's not like a, why are you here? You know, it's not like that.
Yeah. So. Although I have gotten that question sometimes.
Oh, yeah?
Why? What exactly brought you here tonight? Because... yeah.
You ain't always explain.
Wow. Did you feel lighter since you come to that realization with people?
Lighter in the sense that, I feel more loose.
More loose?
Yeah, like I'm not as just tight like I was.
I felt that, like, carrying the gavel of everybody's life was really, really heavy.
Yeah.
That I didn't have to bear. I didn't have to do it. And once I stopped being like, just go on, do what you want to do. Because I don't know where you are in your journey. Like, honestly. Because I might be doing the same thing 2 years, 7 years from now. Or I might have been doing the same thing, but worse, 7 years ago.
So true.
So
I like how you mentioned that. Yeah. Why am I gonna carry someone else's weight? That's not even.
And I rarely know the whole story.
Oh yeah, because people just telling you. That's the funny thing about conversation is that you just talking about your side. Yeah. You know, it's not.
That's the funny thing that people think that's conversation.
Yeah, you're right. It's funny that people actually think that conversation is just, oh, here's what's happening.
Conversation is listening. Talk. Respond.
That could be hard.
Heck yeah, it could be hard. It's hard to listen. We feel like no one listens to us. So we talk.
Yeah.
About what we think
people gonna listen.
We gotta give the best stuff. It's weird. We don't talk at all.
No, we don't.
So
people are afraid of talking.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know. I think people really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah. Not really realizing that when you say it, it has a meaning to somebody. Mm-hmm. It's not just you. Like you might be coming at it from whatever standpoint, but that other person got a whole different other standpoint. Yeah. Just because that word means something else. Mm-hmm. So how you pose what you're saying should be carefully, you should become aware of how are you saying it. You know?
I think you should interact with people. It requires you to not just only think about yourself.
Yeah. Or
not even put it that way, but just know that you're not the only person in the room if you're putting yourself out there like that. So yeah. And stop talking at each other. Everyone's just kind of talking at each other, you know? But,
it's a true thing.
Yeah, you don't get to do that on the social media.
No, you don't.
At all. That's one thing that trips people out, in the checkout line and stuff like that. If you take the time to, look the person in the eye and, say something to them and wait for their response. And so it's amazing how you'll see how people change. Yeah. And when you interact with somebody. Interaction, yeah. You don't interact on social media at all.
It's almost like, how do you look at it then? What way you would describe it if in a way that...
It's a debate.
Debate, yeah.
In its basic form, because in a debate, you have a topic, someone says a piece, someone else responds stating their piece, why their thing is better, or why it should be heard more, and someone else says something. They're not really talking to each other. They're talking about the same thing, but it's not really, it's just stating obvious, so it's a debate. Even when you're talking about yourself, it's a beautiful day. That's the topic. Okay, someone else could come in and say something totally. You're not really talking to each other. We're interacting right now. You're saying something, I'm listening. It's that kind of thing. And it's I was plugging my battery.
I was about to say, but no, that's a really
you can talk on that.
Deeply forgotten concept of what you just mentioned. You're not talking to people. You're
almost done.
Just saying I'm waiting for you to come back over here.
Oh shit. We good. Okay.
But no, just going on what you just said, that's such a powerful point. I never looked at it like that. If you say, the day is beautiful, and then someone comes in and say, yeah, but it rained. Mm-hmm. It's maybe the rain was beautiful to me.
Yeah. I'm going to state my case now why it was beautiful. The rain was beautiful to me. On my side of the street, it was like this. Well, on this side of the street, I have evidence that it was not beautiful, or it was beautiful on my side too. I agree with you. It's you're not able to.
That's what you when I say things a lot of times, you'll say, "What makes it beautiful?" That's conversation. Asking. I like how you have, I think, come to that point. Because if I say something, and this is with what I've noticed with you when you talk to anyone, if they say something, you'll ask, Denise, giving a shout out to you, because I still remember the time we were in our house, and Denise said something like, "Oh, I can't. Well, let me substitute the conversation." I'm not gonna do you like that. Okay, so she was saying something. She basically said, "This thing frustrates me," And then he said, but why does it frustrate you?
Did I?
Yeah, you did.
I probably did.
And it says that you was like, you said, what's frustrating about it? That's what you said.
Oh, I was saying something like that. Yeah.
What's frustrating about it?
Yeah.
Invitation. That's invitation. That's what interaction is. It's an invitation. And
tell me actually how you feel.
feel.
Tell me what you're talking about. I'm not going to tell you how I feel about it. I don't even know what you're talking about.
No.
So
let's
talk.
talk. Yeah, let's talk.
It usually don't take long.
No.
People love to actually finally complete their thought, you know? Actually complete their thought.
Feels good, don't it? It does. Yeah. That's such a good point. That's that one was free. I mean, yeah. So, look. Internet limits, or it doesn't show true interaction. Because like you said, it's not.
I didn't say the internet.
I'm sorry. Social media.
Well, I guess I can't say
you can't
the internet.
say it, though. You said you did. You said.
Okay, that's like me saying the ocean does something.
What were we talking about?
Because I can really only see like maybe a mile at any given point. Yeah. So I'm going to say social media. Okay. But I totally get what you're saying. Yeah. Okay. But you know how I feel about words, so.
Okay. Social media doesn't allow the interaction that we speak of. That's,
yeah. Which is why everybody's flailing around trying to find out what to talk about.
Yeah.
Mainly like, let me just do this all day. And let me just do this all day. You know?
Let me just take a picture with a bunch of money, or let me. Yeah. Oh, that's true.
Yeah. About what we think we want to hear, because no one knows what we want to talk about. No one knows what they want to talk about. So. Community. I think it's just important for every person, especially if you're young. I think it's important for you to always